All right, so getting started today, the presentation is Introduction to VA OSDBU. This training is ideal for those small businesses that have not did business with VA before and that have not attended this training before. So the intent is for you to learn about your small business office and the resources that we provide to you here at the VA Office of Small and Disadvantaged Business Utilization. And I just want to remind everyone before I move on to the next slide to please direct all of your questions to Q&A. Oh, and I apologize, I forgot to mention, if you are using your cell phone, the Q&A, there should be 3 buttons either at the top, if you're using the cell phone app, 3 buttons at the top or at the bottom. When you select those buttons, there are 2 tabs. One of those tabs says Advanced. You want to select the Advanced tab, and then as you scroll down, you'll see a box that says Q&A, and that's where you input your questions. For those individuals that are using the web browser or the app on the computer, it should be to your right where you're able to see the Q&A box. You should see the chat box and the Q&A box. All right, so I'll go ahead and come off camera. So every federal agency has a small business office or an office of small and disadvantaged business utilization. You'll always hear us say OSDBU. This training, it introduces, again, the small business community to the Department of Veteran Affairs OSDBU. The information that I will be providing today, is not going to be pertaining to any other federal agency, even though some of the information can be applied to them, but just the Department of Veteran Affairs OSDBU office. This is an overview of what I plan to discuss today, just a VA OSDBU executive leadership and the history of the OSDBU office. I will talk about our acquisition support team, strategic outreach and communications. As I stated, I am in that directorate. And then I will show you how to navigate our website as well as our social media platforms. And then I will address questions, all final questions at the end, but I will throughout this presentation be addressing your questions as I talk about the resources that we have for small businesses. So Mrs. Sharon Ridley, she is our executive director, and Mrs. Kimberly Osborne is the deputy executive director here at the VA Office of Small Disadvantaged Business Utilization. And just a little backstory about OSDBU. In 1978, Public Law 95-507 amended the Small Business Act and the Small Business Investment Act of 1958. And it did that by incorporating set-aside provisions of executive order, which had formally established that small disadvantaged business program to make federal procurement more readily accessible to all small businesses. Now, this law stipulated that it is the policy of the government to provide maximum practicable opportunities in its acquisitions to the small businesses, small disadvantaged businesses, SDVs, and women-owned small businesses, WOSBs. The head of these agencies, which I have presented on the slide today, are responsible for effectively implementing the small business programs within their agency. And that includes setting and achieving yearly procurement opportunity program goals for small businesses and small disadvantaged business contracting. OSDBU does advocate for the utilization of small businesses, and every federal agency has an OSDBU, or you'll hear it, they call their office either a small business office or office of small business programs. Here at VA OSDBU, our mission is to support the Secretary's priorities by enabling veterans to gain access to economic opportunities by developing those policies and programs informed by customer feedback that improve market research, increasing direct access, as well as maximizing the participation of those procurement-ready veteran-owned small businesses and service-disabled veteran-owned small businesses in the federal contracting. We are located here in Washington, D.C., and we do assist small businesses outside of this region. So since our office is only in Washington, D.C., please do not think for those businesses that are located in other VISNs or other regions that we are not here to assist you. We're just centralized here. Additionally, our services are free and offered to non-veteran owned small businesses as well. And with respect to doing business with VA, we are vet first, but we are not vet only. So I actually just responded to a question from our training last week where they asked, are there any opportunities for non-veteran businesses to do business with VA? And the answer is yes. But you also have to conduct your market research and your competitive analysis to be able to identify those potential opportunities. On this slide, it's just, it shows our directorates. We have strategic outreach and communications, acquisition support team, and IT systems integration. We have 3 directorates. During this presentation, I will only be talking about the SOC, strategic outreach and communications, and acquisition support team, the resources that are provided. Our ITSI directorate doesn't really have a role as far as assisting small business community. They more so assist us with being able to assist the community. So starting off with the acquisition support team, we gather market research, oversee VA subcontracting, provide overall direction on small business program policies and procedures, as well as work with contracting staff to help small businesses maximize VA procurement opportunities. In accordance with Section 15K of the Small Business Act, it states OSDBU is required to review proposed acquisition strategies and to make recommendations with respect to their anticipated impact on small business participation as a prime and a subcontractor. In the Department of Veteran Affairs, these responsibilities are conducted within the context of VA's hierarchy of small business program preferences. And for those individuals that are interested in that, this was established by Section 8127 of Title 38 USC. And it's the Veterans First Contracting Program. So our hierarchy is, if you think about a triangle like the food chart, SDVOSBs are first. And if you want to, visit our YouTube channel, we conducted a training titled Market Research. It actually has it'll be included in the presentation that you receive by tomorrow. It includes the hierarchy for not SDVOSBs, the Department of Veteran Affairs as far as contracting goes. And they speak to, it's another training that we conducted, Rule of Two. So basically at the top tier is SDVOSBs. The second tier is veteran-owned small businesses. The third is 8A and Hub Zone. And the fourth is women-owned small businesses and small businesses, So this law requires VA to consider preferences for SDVOSBs first, and then the verified owned small businesses, VOSBs. They are, like I said, followed by Hub Zone firms and 8A. And then the last tier, I forgot to mention, it was full and open competitions, the 5th tier. So small business program reviews are intended to ensure that veteran-owned small businesses are considered in procurement strategies based on adequate market research. That's basically, to summarize it, what it is. On this page, strategic outreach and communications, on this slide, strategic outreach and communications has various different portfolios and program offices. I'll be talking about education and training, which for those individuals that have attended our trainings before, you are well aware of, as well as outreach program office, communications, direct access program, as well as the Women Veteran-Owned Small Business Initiative. So SOC provides awareness of VA small business programs and resources, its small business goals, and training to those vendors that are interested in doing business with VA. And we achieve this, as I stated before, with our portfolios, communications, outreach and education, training, DAP, as well as WASB. With communications, as far as outreach, we attend speaking engagements nationwide to educate as many small businesses as possible about doing business with VA. about those free resources that we have. We also do that through this training that I'm hosting today. We also collaborate with other agencies and small businesses to offer motivational outreach events. For example, a few months back, we collaborated, as a matter of fact, in March, SOC collaborated with our Women Veteran-Owned Small Business Initiative in honor of Women History Month, and by hosting those outreach events to provide those women-owned small businesses with tools and motivation as they continue their journey as business owners and servant leaders. We have also collaborated with state departments of Veteran Affairs offices, and for trainings, we educate the small businesses on how to navigate the VA procurement process and procurement readiness training, identify the right contracting and teaming opportunities that are out there for the vendors, and demonstrate capabilities to successfully perform on contract awards. And so I'll talk about that in a few minutes, that we do offer capability statement workshops to review business or vendor capability statements, their business resumes. Now, I've listed a few trainings on this next slide, but we are currently revamping and developing some new trainings to the veteran-owned small business community. And so at the end of this training, I'll put up a poll just to ask, what type of trainings do you feel like you need as far as a business owner with doing business with VA that you would like for us to offer that we aren't already offering? I see that there is a question, do you help with how to navigate a contract and how to invoice the government? We do not, but and I always have to remember the new name change. Your advisor with the Apex accelerators are able to assist you, as well as those advisors at the small business development centers. So I strongly recommend that you do reach out to an advisor. Curtis or Norman, can you please post that link in the chat and use that link to put in your geographical information? I think it's just by state where you can search for a local small business, I'm sorry, not small business liaison, for a local PTAC, PTAC code name, advisor with Apex accelerators, excuse me. As part of our communications, one of the things we're doing is using our social media platforms to facilitate, excuse me, those veteran-owned small business engagements. So, and like I said before, I'll show you our social media platforms and communications. When you receive those notifications via Gov Delivery, or if you are on our Twitter page or on our LinkedIn page, you'll see that information. Our communications team are the ones that post that information. Here's a list of some of our trainings as well as those series that we conduct. I made the series bold with doing business with Department of Veteran Affairs for any of those businesses that are in construction. If you were at our training last week, doing business with the Office of Construction and Facilities Management, that is a part of the doing business with the Department of Veteran Affairs series. The Vet Talk Procurement Readiness series, for those individuals, basically the Vet Talk Procurement Readiness series, it breaks down the acquisition process. We started off with a few podcasts with Dr. Linda Williams, and she basically went over some useful information for small businesses that are starting out, or even if you've already been in business, with some things that would basically make your business effective in or positioning your business positioning your business in a better position to be able to compete with your competitors for those contracts. Okay. Thank you for letting me know you have the contact information. So if you're interested in the Vet Talk Procurement Readiness Series, within that is our SBL trainings that we were conducting once a month. We have one that's getting ready to come up in June, basically an introduction to your small business liaisons, as well as those introductions to your Apex accelerators. We collaborate with our partners to bring, useful information to the small business community. Diversifying your portfolio series, there's those opportunities where there are other federal agencies or non-federal agencies that are looking for small businesses to subcontract with or have contracts that could be awarded to them as CVOSBs, VOSBs. So we collaborate with those agencies as well, or those businesses, to have them host basically like a doing business with their agency or organization, so that businesses with VA, SDBU, VOSBs, you have that opportunity to see that there may be opportunities out there, not just with the Department of Veteran Affairs. Definitely don't want to have any missed opportunities, as well as some of our special project series. So one of the things that we are currently working on, just to put on your calendar for those businesses that are interested in either being on a federal supply schedule or knowing more about the federal supply schedule, we are working with our NAC, with the National Acquisition Center, VA's NAC office, to update our federal supply schedule training. I think that'll be about 5 sessions instead of the 2 we had before. So subscribe, and I'll show you where to subscribe if you are interested in those trainings that will be getting ready to come up soon. We do teach a monthly live interactive capability statement workshop to assist the small business community that needs assistance with writing their capability statement. Your Apex Accelerator office also do assist businesses with the development of their capability statement. We're not the only agency that does that. We're just letting you know that that is a resource that we have here at OSDBU. Now, participants are only eligible if you have attended or viewed our How to Create an Effective Capability Statement training. And we say only serious businesses because when you attend this session, you have to have a completed capability statement. We're looking for those key characteristics that my colleague, Mr. Brandon, would discuss during the How to Create an Effective Capability Statement training, which is past performance, capabilities or core competencies, differentiators, and your company data and information. You'll be surprised with some companies, they don't have, or businesses, they don't even include the point of contact information such as a phone number or a physical address, or the business website, or we're not able to access the business website if they do have it, as well as some of the things that we've been seeing is past performance. It's missing that, and some businesses are coming in, if you're a new business, and you're coming in and using your personal experience and incorporating it into your business experience, it's kind of difficult for some businesses to kind of identify how to word that or how to document that on their business resume. And so those are some resources that we offer during that training. We assist businesses with being able to define that and expand on the relevant information. No fluff, like our previous director used to say. Expand on the relevant information to the procurement decision makers that are making, basically those decision makers that are deciding whether or not to award your business or your competitors that contract. And I just want to remind everyone, please put your questions, please place all questions in the Q&A. If you are interested in attending one of our capability statement trainings, we have another one, I'm sorry, not trainings, excuse me, capability statement workshop. We have another one that is getting ready to come up in June. Please either type CS or capability statement in the chat box. Even if you put in the Q&A, I'll be able to see it when I'm reviewing the report. But type it in the chat box so that we'll be able to reach out. We'll reach out to you towards the end of the week to send you the link to register for one of our upcoming workshops that we're having. Again, the next workshop will be in June. So our Women Veteran-Owned Small Business Initiative mission is to empower and educate women veteran entrepreneurs for success and economic opportunities. Women veterans are the fastest growing demographic for VA and the fastest growing demographic for newly formed businesses. They are underutilized in the VA, federal, and commercial marketplace for those women veteran or even women-owned small businesses that are on the call today. We are seeking to increase women veteran-owned small business participation as prime vendors in VA and meet its woman-owned small business goal of 5%. If you're not aware about the small business goals, you can actually go on the Small Business Administration website. They have the small business goals for all of the federal agencies. And you can go on there to see not just with the Department of Veteran Affairs, but with other federal agencies as well, what their small business goals are. And also, if you go on there and you look at the reporting, it shows you, which small businesses are meeting their, I'm sorry, not small businesses, which federal agencies are meeting their small business goals. That could be a pitch, a possible pitch for some of the businesses that are on the call today, as far as if those agencies are not meeting their goals, that your business does qualify for one of those, or is one of those socioeconomic classifications. Now, the benefits include collaboration with the Women Veteran-Owned Small Business Initiative, collaboration and building a community with other women veterans through focused training, engagements, networking, and outreach events, and then those opportunities and sisterhood. So it fosters training and partnerships in the women veteran-owned small business and the women-owned small business community. Now, the profile for businesses that are involved with women veteran-owned small businesses, some of the collaborations have been the Institute of Veterans in Procurement, the Veteran Women's Enterprise Center, as well as the Women Veterans Alliance. So that contact, the page information I'll be showing in a few minutes. You can go on the page to learn more for those women-owned small businesses that are on the call today, to learn more about the Women Veteran-Owned Small Business Initiative. Now, these are some of the qualifications for the Women Veteran-Owned within, the Women Veteran-Owned Small Business Initiative. Those businesses are certified as an SDVOSB or VOSB. If there are any businesses that are on the call today that do not know what that means about being certified, or are unaware of certifications with the Small Business Administration, that information will be included. We include, it's called a support, resources, and contracting tools section in the presentations, in all of our presentations, or majority of our presentations. We include that in there. This will be included in there for you to visit the Small Business Administration website concerning that, if your business is not certified as a SDVOSB or VOSB. They also have certifications for woman-owned small business, and I think 8A as well. But yeah, you can visit the Small Business Administration website to learn more about that. The businesses have between 3 to 5 full-time employees. This is great information, especially for those businesses that may be on the call that it's just you right now. That's fine as you continue to grow your business. 3 to 5 years in business, doing business, have between 500 to 1 million, 500,000, to 1 million in revenue minimum. And the capabilities in underrepresented NAICS codes. So for example, they have on their information technology, manufacturing, construction, etc. And then past performance as a prime contractor or prime contractor within specified business sectors, agencies, capabilities, and NAICS code within the past 3 years. If you have any questions concerning the Women Veteran-Owned Small Business Initiative, you can always direct your questions, and we'll have our contact information at the end. But OSDBU Strat, let me go ahead, I'll type that in the chat for you. And that's for any business. If you have some additional questions that may be specific, you can direct them to our main mailbox, osdbustratcom@va.gov. And I just placed the mailbox. I want to make sure I spelled everything right. Okay, yes. You can, I placed it in the chat box. You can send us a message. So I'm going to look at the questions. Okay. Okay, for that individual that posted would like to receive future trainings, I'll show you where you can go to subscribe to receive notifications when future trainings, when the registration opens for those future trainings. What is the status of Vector? I don't know. So what I can do is I can reach out to find out. I don't think the last time that I heard, it was still unknown. But I can still reach out to see, because I think it was a few months ago, to see if there's been a status change. Oh, thank you, Curtis. I see you've been responding. So this is a good question. What is the best way to introduce a new product to the VA that would not yet be part of the formal procurement process, namely involved with an RFP release? So my colleague actually posted some information. The best way to see if VA has a need for the services is to review the federal procurement data system, Next Generation, and identify which program offices or medical centers are soliciting for your services. Also, we don't want to forget about Pathfinder. If there are any businesses on the call today, Curtis or Norman, if you could post that in the chat. And again, we're posting these links, but they're included in the back of the presentation when you receive it. But Pathfinder is a great way to input that information. On Pathfinder, it has a section on whether or not you would like to sell to the VA, or you have a new innovative, idea or a product that you would like to work with VA on. And it has where when you select that button, it takes you to the rest of the information on how you can input that. And basically that information will go out to those individuals, those procurement decision makers within the Department of Veteran Affairs. So that is another way that you can be able to do that. As well as if you are ready to do business with VA, your small business liaison. So I don't mention the small business liaisons during this training. I think I mentioned it during the doing business with VA training. But if you are ready to do business with VA, we definitely don't want you to miss out. I mean, not miss out, but forget about your small business liaisons. They are there to be able to assist you and potentially put you in contact with those point of contacts as well. Why would a prime use one of our companies as a sub? Do they receive favorable additional contracts, tax breaks, or incentives? It all depends. As you're saying, you're listing those factors. I am not sure, because it will all depend. There are some contracts that are out there that requires for, not saying it's specifically with the Department of Veteran Affairs, but I have seen contracts that requires that for a prime, in order for them to be awarded the contract, they have to have subcontractors. That basically gives the subcontractors the opportunity to be able to build on that past performance, as well as work on projects to, gain revenue. So it would all really just depend. Sometimes there may be primes as well that are unable to fulfill certain parts of that contract. And so they're looking for a subcontractor to come in to fill on those parts. I would recommend you looking at, on our YouTube channel, we have a training about partnering prime. The first one is phase 1 prime and subcontracting and teaming agreements. I believe that is the name of the title. But I know during the session, they discuss those prime and subcontracting relationships. So that will help you to learn a little bit more on why, when, businesses basically are partnering together, a prime, because I don't want you to think that a prime is just this really big business. There are small businesses that are prime. And so if you just think about a prime being this really big business, and you're like, okay, well, you're a big business, what do you need a subcontractors for? It kind of wouldn't make much sense. But if you think about it in terms of a prime, because they're just the ones that are the main awardee of the contract, being a smaller business, and they don't have all the resources to be able to, fulfill on the contract, but they have partnered, either, whatever type of arrangement it may be, they have a subcontractor that can come in and fulfill the other parts of it, then that may be a reason as well. If I'm a veteran, should I get the women veteran-owned small business first? And that covers the women-owned small business also, or get the veterans cert first? And my colleague commented on it, but I just read it out loud because that's a really good question. He said, of course, to get both. So I am not aware of a women veteran-owned small business certification. I do know Small Business Administration has a women-owned small business certification. So if your business does qualify for as a, service disabled veteran-owned small business or a veteran-owned small business, we recommend that you get all the certifications that you can, that your business qualifies for, with the Small Business Administration. That means that if you are a, AA certification, if you're a woman-owned small business certification, if you are a veteran-owned small business certification, there may be those opportunities that come about not just with the Department of Veteran Affairs, but with other federal agencies where there is a contract that is set aside, for example, a woman-owned small business, and they're looking for businesses that are certified as a woman-owned small business. By the time that solicitation comes out, if they're saying, okay, we need to have a response, within 5 business days, you're probably not, I'm not aware of how long it takes to get the certification, but you're probably not going to be able to get that woman-owned small business certification within that time frame. So basically just staying ready with all the certifications allows you that opportunity to not miss out on any opportunities that may come out. For example, if they are set aside, those solicitations or contracts are set aside for those businesses. Is there any instance for federal employees that are SDVOSBs? I'm having difficulties with finding a prime to collaborate with. I'm sorry, I read that wrong. Is there any assistance for federal employees that are SDVOSBs? I'm not really reading your question. I'm not really understanding when you're saying federal employees that are SDVOSBs. So if you could, Jason, either elaborate on what your question is, or like I said, I put our mailbox in there. You can, if you don't want to put it in the Q&A, go ahead and send us an email, basically elaborating on what you're speaking about. Tell us the situation so we can be able to assist you. We may not, if we still have questions, be able to assist you via email. So we're going to ask to set up a one-on-one meeting, a brief one-on-one meeting to be able to answer your question. I don't hire employees, however, I subcontract. Would that count as the 3 to 5 employees? I am not sure, Stephen, but we did receive that same question last week, and I'm looking for a response. What I'll do is once I have it, I'll respond back to you on that one. Do I have to be certified with SBA before I'm certified with woman-owned small business? For some reason, my business isn't updated from SAM.gov for woman-owned small business, so I can't move the application process. I recommend that you reach out to your Apex Accelerator. I would say reach out to SBA to see if you could go through the process with both, but I am not sure. So I'll say reach out to your Apex Accelerator so that they can work with you more on fixing that and assisting you with getting those certifications. I'm very new in this process. We're there somewhere I can get started with the VA locally or online. It depends on how new you are. We do have businesses that attend our trainings and they say that they're new and they are brand new. They have not even established their business yet. And I would direct them to the Small Business Administration. Those advisors at the Small Business Development Centers would be able to assist them. If you are new, as in the sense that you have not did business, but you have already gone through the process of establishing your business, developing your business plan, then I would recommend that you speak with your Apex Accelerators, an advisor with the Apex Accelerator. And I think my colleagues did post their contact information in the chat, but if it's just too much information that's in the chat and you can't find it, it will be included in the back of the presentation. Okay. I'm a Black woman-owned small business that just getting started in the veteran service. Have been in business for over 8 years. Where do you suggest I get started first? So if you've already been doing business and you are ready to do business with VA, I recommend that you reach out to your local small business liaison, excuse me, and I'll show you where that contact information is. Okay. Who would we contact to assist us if we are at the very beginning stages of beginning our business? Okay, and then my colleague, as I stated before, the Small Business Administration, speaking with your Small Business Development Center. When he posted in the Q&A, SBA's main website, if you go on there and you look for the Small Business Development Centers, or acronym SBDC, it will take you to the page where you can locate you. I think you put in your zip code, where you'll be able to locate your local small business development center to find an advisor. All right, so the last program, because that's the last questions that I see in the Q&A, the last program office that I will speak about, is the Direct Access Program, and they offer and enable SDVOSBs and VOSBs, as well as other small and socioeconomic firms, access to VA procurement and business relationships through those unique networking and informational sessions. They also guide entrepreneurs to resources that help them market their capabilities. So DAP offers this unique opportunity for those small businesses to build those partnerships and maximize networking through structured, screened, and periodic events. So the type of DAP events include, for those businesses that have already or are used to doing business with VA, they know about NVSBE. Those were one of the type of events, the National Veteran Small Business Engagements, but also NVSBE is one of the largest business networking events designed for the veteran-owned and other small businesses to basically connect with procurement decision makers from VA, other agency, government agency program managers, and those industry supply diversity managers. Now, with the NVSBE, this event was placed on hold. It's still on hold, excuse me. But I'll show you towards the end of this presentation how you can subscribe, as I've been saying that throughout the presentation, how you can subscribe to receive notifications for our events when the registration does open. So other events that are listed on this slide include, for example, the VA Medical Center events for those businesses where your services are most needed at the medical centers. And I actually, if you're not aware, the first part of market research, or I would consider the first part of market research is knowing who your buyer is. If you're not aware about what VA is buying, those different offices, I do recommend that you are doing business with preparing to do business with the Department of Veteran Affairs training, so that you can kind of gain an understanding of VA's top 3 business lines within the other business lines within VA, where there are some potential procurement opportunities for your business. So going back to DAP, they have those events with the medical center, those virtual business opportunity sessions, 101 meetings. There are partnerships with larger businesses, as well as those partnerships with professional associations. And building coalitions with other government agencies, for example, the Small Business Administration and the U.S. Post Office. So, because there are procurement opportunities there as well. Now, these events are usually delivered through a VA-provided platform, such as WebEx, like what you're using today, but they will begin hosting in-person sessions. They actually started hosting in-person sessions at our office in Washington, D.C. So typically each event or breakout session is just to give you an idea of what these sessions look like. Typically each event or breakout session will use a lead facilitator for primary delivery and a co-facilitator to streamline the flow and the delivery by assisting with those polls, the Q&A, transitions, and other virtual event protocols. So virtual event staff are skilled in all the best practice techniques to mitigate those risks, maximize the effectiveness and participant engagement. And the standard practice is to provide post-training additional resources for your benefit as the vendor and integrate those follow-up mechanisms to engage the learning, elicit your questions the vendors may have, and provide additional coaching and information. So now I'm going to share my screen to take you to our OSDBU website. Bear with me one second. Are you able to see my screen?
See it.
Curtis or Nicole, because I'm sharing and I'm not able to see the chat or the Q&A. If one of you could let me know if you're able to see my screen.
I was saying I could see it. I don't know if you could hear me.
Let me see here. I thought I had it saved on here. Excuse me, everyone. I had to go back and get the web address for it. Okay, there we go. It's finally loaded. So this is the OSDBU website. All of the resources that I basically just covered today here during this presentation is included on here, majority of it. I'd say about 99% of the information I covered is included on here. It's just a summary of our website. So the website is www.va.gov/OSDBU/. You don't have to write that down if you don't want to, because again, it will be included in the presentation. So on our OSDBU page, we do have the carousel where it's information is included on there. For today, you see the VA mission statement. There's the Wellness Wednesday financial education, which was back in April. So this information will be removed soon. And then the veteran small business certification, since it's fairly new with the transition for those businesses that are not aware, you're just coming in, you're not aware about CVE when it was there. So on the contact, I'm sorry, when it was with Department of Veteran Affairs. So in the middle, and this is basically knowing how to navigate our OSDBU website. In the middle, there's contact information. The verification information is still there concerning CVE, but then there's also a link to the page for our VA small business goals and accomplishments. In the middle, there's information for news you can use for those businesses that are currently developing your capability statement or are looking for some samples on how you can continue to either develop it or update your capability statement. Here's a link where it has sample templates and definitions when you're developing it. It includes those 5 key characteristics that I talked about before. There's also other additional information that's included in here for the news you can use. If you would like to, if you would like VA OSDBU, to participate in your organization's outreach events, that information, contact information is included on there. There's also our calendar of information, which includes those small business events that we have coming up. As you can see, we have Introduction to VA OSDBU. So I'll be showing you, there are 2 ways where you can be able to identify the, you'll be able to identify the contact information. You'll be able to identify our training events or our outreach events that we may have. Going towards the bottom, there's marketing and network opportunities. Again, that was with our direct access program office. They mostly, assist businesses with those networking opportunities that I discussed before, and then acquisition and contract support with our AST office, the first program or directorate that I spoke about before. And then there are links to DAP, SOC, WOSDBU. So links to our pages are included here on the first page. And I say our pages as in the directorates page. For those women, veteran-owned small businesses or women-owned small businesses, as I stated, if you were interested, you would just click on the Women Veteran-Owned Small Business Initiative, and it will take you to the page where the director for WOSDBU is GI, Michelle Gardner, Inc. And some of the contact information, her contact information, is it included here? Yeah. Excuse me, VetBiz Lady office hours and networking sessions. You can click here for those women veteran-owned small businesses or women-owned small businesses. Now I'm going to go back for a second. For SOC, here's our contact information page. If you click on education and training, and you can click on education and training here, or there's also education and training here on the right-hand side under resources. When you click to our education and training page, our website is currently being revamped. So right now, what I'm showing you, there may be some changes later on in the future, but right now, you click on upcoming webinars. Remember before I told you there were 2 places where you can identify the trainings. It was either on our calendar or on this strategic outreach and communications webinar schedule page. So as you can see, these are some upcoming trainings that we have, and the registration button is not grayed out. So therefore, that means that you are able to register for those events if you are interested. So on the resources side, on the right-hand side, you can go back to the OSDBU homepage. And on the right-hand side, again, there's the events calendar. There is a fact sheet for those frequently asked questions. There is a media library, but again, we are updating that information. Majority of our media is included on our YouTube channel, which I'll be showing you in a second. There's also our education and training, as I showed you. For those that are interested and need to speak with your small business liaison, here's the page. And again, it was on the right-hand side under resources. And each page that you go to, you'll see your resources section sometimes will be different. It won't include all or some of the same information. So here is where you will go to identify your small business liaisons in the VISNs, like for example, at the medical centers. But if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, there are those small business liaisons in those specific offices. For example, the SAC office, strategic, hold on, because excuse me, I'm always using, Strategic Acquisition Center, the TAC office. I mentioned the NAC office before, especially for those businesses interested in the VA Federal Supply Schedule. National Cemetery Administration, and then, construction, Office of Acquisition, Logistics, and Construction is on here. That's OALC, but then CFM, I know it is included somewhere here. CFM is included on there as well as the program contracting activity. So a good example is when I was at one of the outreach events, looking at conducting some market research, helping a business out. We looked at ussspending.gov. We also looked at sam.gov to identify what offices are those procurement opportunities coming out of at the Department of Veteran Affairs for their business. And we were able to identify those actually coming out of the program contracting activity. Sometimes businesses solely focus on these VISNs. I do not recommend for any business that you reach out where you just see this long list of contacts and then you just send out, one big email to all of these small business liaisons. I do recommend that you first reach out to your local small business liaison. And if you're not aware about what VISN VHA map, which one VISN number is your local, you can actually Google, and I'll place the link. The link will be in the contract and support to section. But let me move this over so I can see. If you actually go to whatever your search engine is and you type in VHA, VISN is VISN map, it will pull up, this isn't the one. Excuse me. It will pull up VA's VISN map so you know which number. Here we go. So you'll know which VISN number is your local. So for example, if you live in Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, your VISN number is 6. So then you go to the small business liaison and you would look for VISN 6, and you would know who the point of contact is. So I'm going to go back to, and if you want to go back to the homepage, you can select over here on the right-hand corner of resources, OSDBU homepage, scroll down. There's also contact information, information for doing business with VA. But again, we have a training for that. There's the Federal OSDBU Council. For those businesses that are interested in, it includes the contact information for all the OSDBU small business offices, the contact information for those federal agencies. You can actually click on Federal OSDBU Council. Sometimes when businesses reach out to us and say, hey, I'm trying to find a point of contact for, I'll use for example, for Army, you can go on here to the Federal OSDBU Council's page and identify who that point of contact is. It's a long list of them. I'm not going to recommend that you visit the VA Forecast of Contracting Opportunities page right now because they are currently updating that. But here is a link to the VA Forecast of Contracting Opportunities page. You will receive an announcement when it has been updated. You will receive an announcement and then you can go on there and visit it. VA Forecast of Contracting Opportunities. It doesn't guarantee a contract. Like let's just say, for example, if you see it in sam.gov, but it does let you know as the vendor, what exactly is VA looking for? Are they looking for some services? Are there potential opportunities for your business to basically be awarded, some of those contracts, or basically provide service to the Department of Veteran Affairs? That's what the VA Forecast of Contracting Opportunities page can assist your business with. Just identify, I would consider it a part of, the additional market research with identifying those opportunities. And then there's contact information about VA OSDBU, but I hosted this training today, so you don't really have to visit that page. It talks about some of our directorates, but and then those the frequently asked questions is down here. So for those businesses that mentioned that you would like to subscribe, on the right-hand side, there is a subscribe for OSDBU updates. You can place your email address there. I'm going to place our group mailbox, if I can type it right. It's so teeny weeny. Our group mailbox information in here so that you can see what it looks like, and just click an X so we can see the entire screen. When you click on there, there are specific subscription topics that you can subscribe to. You don't have to subscribe to receive notifications about every single thing or information that we have coming out. You can choose education and training resources, and there are those subsections to those. If you just want to know when media has been uploaded, or if you just want to know, which again, we're not currently using this information right now. We're not currently uploading to the media library right now. But if you want to know about additional resources, when registration opens for those webinars, you can select to receive notification about the OSDBU webinars. OSDBU news and updates, anything that's coming out. For example, when there was that transition with CVE, that any businesses that were subscribed to here, news and updates would have been receiving the notification of, when the transition was occurring and when things closed. Also, broken down strategic outreach, those OSDBU events, OSDBU social media, and then resources for veteran entrepreneurs. So with this, you can either select all within that, or you can uncheck it and you select specific ones. Once you're finished, just make sure you do hit submit so that you can make sure you hit submit so that it saves your responses. And the last thing that I'll show you, and I'll answer a few more questions. I see we have 4 minutes left. And I'm not able to see questions right now for anybody that's putting in questions. I'll look at it when I stop sharing my screen. This is our YouTube channel. We do have a LinkedIn channel. I'm not going to show that today, but this is our YouTube channel. To navigate on our YouTube channel, the most recent trainings that we have will appear first under videos. But when it says, if you select this arrow, it's not going to show you all of the trainings that we have. It's just going to show you those most recent okay, I'm sorry about that. It's going to show you the most recent trainings that we have. To see all of those trainings within those series that I spoke about, you can click on the playlist. And in the playlist, we have some of our older trainings on there as well, but there is the Diversifying Your Portfolio series. If you missed it, you really didn't miss it because it's on our YouTube channel, so you can go back and review it. The Business Fitness series, a part of our communications portfolio. There's the Financial Literacy. Some other ones is the older ones I talked about, the revamp of the federal supply schedule, but there are those 2 trainings that we have. It's still the same information that you can go back and review. This newer training, we're looking to kind of break down that information so that it's not a overload of information when businesses are attending those trainings. Vet Talk Procurement Readiness Series. And for those that are not familiar with YouTube, when you click on it, you don't necessarily have to review all the training. It is in the order that they were conducted. There was the straight talk, the rule of 2 that I spoke about, the market research that I spoke about. And as a matter of fact, while I'm sharing this, if I can make it bigger, for everyone to see, this is the hierarchy that I spoke about earlier. SDVOSBs, VOSBs, and then full and open unrestricted on the 5th tier. So I'm going to pull the chat out so that the chat and the Q&A, so I can be able to see if there are any other questions. This is what the contact information looks like. I'm sorry, support resources and contracting tools page. I think it's about 9 pages of information. This is our contact information here. Let me pull out the Q&A box, excuse me, so I can be able to see any additional questions that we have. For those that placed your business information in the chat, I will be sending it out when I send out the presentation. And again, it will not include any email addresses or anything, only what you placed as the business owner in the chat. So let me go back to the Q&A. I have about 1 minute left. We are a veteran, and I'm going to start at the bottom. So please don't feel that I missed your question. Again, I will respond back to your question. It'll just be via email.
We only got one question left.
Okay, great. We are a veteran, woman-owned marketing company specializing in healthcare marketing. We have a forecast list and have identified possible opportunities. Can we schedule a virtual meeting with OSDBU, and what should we expect from the meeting? So when we do one-on-one meetings, usually in those one-on-one meetings, depending on if you come to us and say, hey, I want to know, what are the next steps for me? What you can expect, and this is for all businesses, is we're going to ask you for your capability statement. We're going to ask you what are your sweet spots, your NAEPS codes, because we're going to look at some potential opportunities. In order to do that, we're going to look at old opportunities that were potentially out there. If you are not using usaspending.gov, I highly recommend it that you use that or start using that as a tool when you are conducting your market research. It helps you to not only identify which agency is actually spending the most money in the services that your business provides, but also how much money is the agency that you are looking at spending, in the services or the industry that you're in. Also, it helps you to identify potential competitors, those individuals that have been awarded contracts. Now, there are different levels to competitors. We're not saying, especially if you're a small business, or I'm not saying, especially if you're a small business, that you look to compete with those bigger companies that may have 500-600 people on their staff and you only have 3 to 5, for example. There are or could potentially be businesses that only have 3 to 5 that can perform the same type of services that your business provides. You can be able to identify that information on there. And not just that, there's the data bank on sam.gov as well. So those are some things that we would look at. And then when we come into the meeting, we would hear from you about where you've been so far, because we definitely don't want to repeat that same information. And then we'll discuss, okay, this is how we recommend you begin to proceed. Definitely providing you those resources, contact information for those resources. For example, like I stated throughout this presentation, the advisors with the Apex accelerators, small business development centers, even potential, contacting your small business liaison. The reason I said potentially is because your small business liaison, you need to make sure that you are ready to do business with VA. A good example, and I know we're kind of slightly over 1 minute, a good example is if, for example, the VA requires a certain certification from businesses when they are awarding out these contracts. If your business does not have that certification, looking at that old data during your market research helps you to basically get your business in that position to do that. You're able to see that. What were they requesting on, prior solicitations? How often? These are questions you could ask yourself. How often are those solicitations, solicitations being posted, contracts being awarded? Are they doing 10 a year looking for this service? As well as, and one thing that I'll end on is, say, for example, you did not, you were not awarded, your business wasn't awarded that contract. Doesn't necessarily mean that quote unquote competitor would succeed on that contract. So sometimes businesses, they look at that and they're like, oh, okay, well, missed out on that one. Let me move on to the next. But then there may be that opportunity that's coming up because the agency still needs, services to be provided for, they still need a business to provide those services. And if they're not, succeeding on it and they still need the services, that then, helps with positioning your business, knowing that helps position your business to be ready when, oh, okay, the solicitation is getting ready to come around, because they're not going to be able to work with them, within whatever time frame it may be. So that's something else that's good to look at. I see that I was not able to answer a few of the questions that are in the Q&A, and we are over 3 minutes. I will reach out and respond to your questions that you have, or schedule, because if I'm looking at the question I'm not understanding, I'll reach out to say, hey, can I schedule a brief 10 to 15 minute conversation with you via Microsoft Teams so that I can be able to assist you. So for those businesses that I was not able to respond to today, please look out for those emails that's going to be coming from our group mailbox, either responding to your question or asking to schedule a one-on-one with your business. I want to thank everyone for attending today. I was not able to upload the poll. If you want to, you can reach out to our email address concerning any topics that you feel like your business, you know, hey, I need to learn this. I need to learn about, I'll use federal supply schedule as an example, even though we have a training that's coming up. I would like to learn about that. Can OSDBU, you know, offer a training in that or a workshop in that? What we'll do is take it back to our director to make a, you know, to kind of decide on what the new trainings will look like. Like I said, we are revamping some of our trainings that we currently have. So now will be a great opportunity for businesses. If you're interested, to let us know, what do you need from us, because we are your resource. Thank you everyone for attending today. We're 4 minutes over. I'm going to go ahead and close out the training. Please enjoy the rest of your day. It's a wonderful Tuesday. It's raining here, but I love the rain. So have a good day, everyone.